Hello and welcome to our Brisbane Bullets preview for NBL Supercoach. I am the Matrix. I am here today with Hammer. Mate, we have a shot clock on today. I am, as a Brisbane Bullets fan, not even excited about talking about the Bullets, but take us through the start of the news. What's happened with Brisbane?
Not excited, man. This is a running theme for about the last decade. Look, new roster, new season for the Bullets. They've been
New year, new
dysfunctional.
me.
They've been dysfunctional for the better part of a decade, and one can only hope that this year is when they turn it around. Bit of a changing of the guard though, with a few off-season departures.
Yeah, look, it's Sobe and bangers. I'm gonna have to buy a couple new jerseys. Um, because that's all they sell in the NBL store. But look, I suppose this is going to leave some avenues for some new players to get some buckets. Not really that we've seen bangers be Supercoach relevant ever. But yeah, Sobe was Supercoach relevant at times.
Yeah, look, they've got a few injury clouds hanging over them at the moment. Bannon with a broken hand, McDaniels is out. We haven't seen much of Isaac. Um, But there's a few new faces as well. They've got Prather, who's reportedly healthy, even though he came in the back end of last season. They've got Deng Adele over the off season, and they've loaded up with two new imports in Keandre Cook and James Bateman. What do you think about these guys?
Hate them. I
Good.
don't think. Yeah, look, I don't think any of them are really worth the 277K. We are going to see a full preseason schedule from these guys, and we've started to see a little bit. I'm going to jump the gun and jump a little bit all over the shop into Prather that you were chatting about.
Yep.
Because of the fact that he came in last year injured, Brisbane
Mm.
knew that he came in injured. And I think it was to teach some of the younger guys to maybe, if we did make some noise in finals. We've got that level head, somebody that's been an NBL MVP and been a great basketball player over the years, just on our roster. And he kept plummeting in price as he should have
Mm.
been. He was awful last year. But at 139K, if Bannon and McDaniels don't start the year, him on a bad Brisbane team could be a cash cow that could get you points and get you dollar bills, y'all.
Could be. I'm not convinced. We'll probably break that down a little bit, but the reason I'm not really convinced on any of these bullets is we should probably talk about strength of schedule, right? Their schedule is grotesque.
the, the term I used was putrid, and that is
Putrid.
just as bad. Look, there's a whole lot of white when we have a look at our schedulizer that I did up here,
Yep.
and no doubles till round 9 just means that I have very limited and very little interest in any of these bullets until honestly the back end of the season, and then they'll become super coach relevant.
Yeah. Look, that's the silver lining. The schedule for the Bullets is so heavily backloaded that we're gonna be wanting to jump on these guys after the mid-season point, and we'll be hoping that they haven't gone up in price too much. But from what we've seen in pre-season, we've got a couple of top picks, and some of these guys we are expecting to go up in price.
Yeah, and I suppose let's have a chat about our boy Tyrell Harrison, the starting
Mm.
center for New Zealand Brew, and he has been looking like a tasty morsel at 230K, and playing like a 350K big, to be honest.
He has emerged from that giant shadow of Aaron Baines, and he said, "Hold my beer, guys. I'm here to play." He has absolutely dominated the first two preseason games, albeit they've been against questionable opposition in the Shanghai Sharks and a very undermanned Melbourne United. But 56 points, Supercoach points. I think 36 in the other one. He's been all over the shop, almost doubled in the second, definitely doubled in the first. If this schedule was better, he would be everyone's number one pick, right?
Honestly, he'd be in my team. He might. I don't know. I know you're a bit more convinced into having him in your team than I am, and it's only because I have 3 rounds to look at him. If he's
Yep.
going to go up 50K in the first week, 50K in the second week, I'm just going to get him in round 3 because we have 3 weeks to look at these guys. 3 singles in a row. To be completely honest, we have 8 singles in a row.
Yeah. I'm just excited about the lack of depth behind him. Right now, the backup centre is Tui Smith Milner or our boy Rocco Zakarski. But where those minutes were split last year, you had Bangers playing, you know, 15, Terrell playing 20, few leftover minutes for Rocco. I think the lion's share of those minutes now are Terrell Harrison's, and he's the future of this team. He's also got some exciting shooters and some imports around him who are going to be throwing that up there for him.
Yeah, and I suppose that leads us into Rocco. He's 45% owned. He is the cash cow in there. I'm not convinced. If you're a guy that loses minutes to Tohi Smith Milner,
Mm.
you're not going to be in my team. I know he's the projected number 7 pick,
Mm.
and it's super exciting. But when you have a look at this draw, you can just if he's going to go up 50k at first price rise, just get him round 3. Get your
Mm.
money then.
I think the fact that he's 95,000 and that cheap, and compared to some of the slightly cheaper guys at that 69,000 mark for the newbies,
Giggity.
um, he will play minutes. How many minutes we don't know yet, but to be able to free up cash to put people on your starting 5, is it the worst option?
At center, yes. Because if you've got guards and forwards, right,
Mm.
you can have 4 of them. At centers, that is the premium it was the premium position in NBL fantasy. In
Yep.
Supercoach, it's not as relevant, but you only get 2 of them.
Yep.
I'm looking to chase somebody with a better schedule.
And the fact that he is only center eligible. There are a fair few guys this year, and not wanting to talk too much about other teams, but if you're looking for cheaper options who are centre forward eligible, we've got Lockie Olbrich in Illawarra. We've got uh, Almanza in Perth at 115k. Uh, Marcus Lee with United's only around that 200 mark. We've got some options here, so maybe it's something to play with if you need that extra cash and you think he's going to be a cash cow. Round 3, like you said, for a lot of these Bullets guys, if you want to take advantage of it, but it's going to be a wait and see for me on Rocco, I think.
Mate, do you have any look, to me, we spoke about our cash cow as if it's a red flag and Phil's gold. Like you're gonna get 95k value at the
Yeah,
very
you won't
least.
lose.
He's worth more. All I'm saying is like you might be able to get a 200k guy that you can make money out of and bank those points and just not be
Yeah.
behind the 8 ball. But are there guys that are genuine red flags in this team for some people that are watching the
Mm.
I suppose the preseason?
Yeah, look, one of the surprise packs of the preseason has been the play of Deng Adel. All right, this is a guy
Mm.
I'd written about in an article saying avoid at all costs. He came into Illawarra a number of years ago after a bit of a run uh, overseas and came with big raps and was a sore disappointment. He really did not perform, fell out of the rotation, and he's been playing in obscure overseas leagues ever since. So we're not expecting much. However, he's come out in that first game against the Shanghai Sharks. Prather's come off the bench and played very, very limited minutes. Dengadell started, and he has dropped a stat line. Let me bring it up here. He had 15 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds, all by halftime in that first game. Second game against Melbourne, 24 points, 2 rebounds. This has equated to some ginormous fantasy scores in very limited minutes. Uh, I've got a red flag here, and you mentioned this before. There's a lot of guys to come back, or a lot of guys to get more run. Yeah.
He plays exactly the same position as Brisbane's darlings in Josh Bannon and Jaden McDaniels. Like Josh Bannon has went and had
And
some
Matt.
Clippers experience in the off season. He's going to come back, plays the same position as these guys. I think there's too much of a log jam at the positions that Dangadell plays. I think he'll be good in the minutes that he gets,
Yeah.
but I'm not expecting him to be a breakout star this year when it comes to the regular season.
Yeah. And at a starting price of 232,000, it's too much to take a punt on. He's coming in at the exact same price as Jack White.
And we're trying not to talk about other teams too much, but he's basically a Lat Mayan with more competition. So why
Mhm.
not save that 100K, get a team with a better schedule, and I'm advising to stay away from Deng Adel. It's about the midpoint of the podcast, and we should mention our sponsor, Ryan from Astute Newstead. If your interest rates are above 6.2%, reach out to him. He can refinance your home. He can help you get your dream home, or just look at your current schedule. Your current schedule. I've been talking NBL too much. Look at your current repayments and just save you some dollar bills. Yeah, reach out to Ryan. Let him know that we sent you. Mate, you have more of an opinion on Keandre Cook because I don't even want to look at this man.
Yeah, look, he's come in to fill the role that the import wing filled last year. Meant to be a pure shooter from the three. He's looked a little lost. Maybe it's going to take him some time to find his feet. But I'm seeing a lot of stuff online saying, is he going to be the first import gone from NBL 25? Uh, won't be in any of my squads. I don't like the look of his fantasy game. But the one to keep an eye on, not that we're going to be touching him early on, is James Bateman, the point guard. He's slowly been warming in these 2 games, and he's put together some solid numbers. I think the last game was 13 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, something along those lines. Um, look, if he can put up numbers like that and improve on it, minutes will increase, and there's not a lot of competition at backup guard. He could be someone to watch in the back end of the season when Brisbane become relevant.
Yeah, look, my concern, yeah, hopefully he drops in cash
Yeah.
with Mitch Norton and Isaac White. I do
Mm.
think that maybe like they're serviceable.
Yep.
And I think when your outlook is looking as bad as Brisbane's is, I think we'll just see Mitch Norton with Isaac White there and maybe see a 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, or like
Yeah.
ah, maybe 8 minutes at backup shooting guard for some of these guys.
The,
I don't know. It's too many mouths to feed.
Yeah, the hope that I'm holding out with this guy is that the Brisbane were very vocal that they were going out to find the import along the lines of a Jalen Adams, someone who's going to change the game for him, a Derek Walton, that scoring, high level point guard. And they've spent some money on this guy, so hopefully we see a bit more.
Mate, there has been a lot of changes at Brisbane. Look, what we have seen or need to see from the preseason is probably some minutes from Rocco. If you're losing minutes to Tohi Smith Milner, I don't want a piece of you. We probably need to see a healthy Casey Prather. And I don't think we're going to see it in the preseason, but we're going to have to see some of these guys actually play some basketball, like your Josh Bannon and your Sam
Yeah.
McDaniels. Do you have any points to touch there?
I think you've hit it all. I just want to see an injury report and get a timeline on these guys. If you know Josh Bannon's going to be out for a fair while, maybe Deng Adel becomes a bit more relevant. But until then, we're just keeping our eyes on the blitz like we are with every other team.
Mate, I know I'm excited to hopefully catch a Blitz game with you. Join our Inside Unlimited League, 202 868. That covers absolutely everything in 13 minutes. You have listened to an Insight Fantasy Sports podcast.
That's a wrap.
Cheerio.